Hello there guys, and welcome to this P3D video. Finally, the QualityWings Boeing 787 is available for P3D. This aircraft has been in the making for many years. It was first introduced for FSX and it took a very long time, but it is now available for P3D. My initial thought before we begin this review is that I wish I were doing this review of this aircraft for X-Plane 11. Nevertheless, we now have a Boeing 787 to enjoy in a flight simulator, and this is the only high-fidelity 787 available today. When it comes to authenticity, 3D modeling, and texture work, QualityWings are known for creating very high-quality visual models, and this aircraft is an absolute masterpiece in terms of how it looks. It's an authentic representation of the Boeing 787. And by the way, it comes in 4 trims. It comes in the 8 and 9 trims, and both trims come in either the General Electric or the Majestic Rolls-Royce engines. In order to get an idea of how detailed this 3 model is, let's take a look here at the landing gear first and just look at the amount of work and the quality textures that were used to recreate the landing gear area. Again, very detailed, very crisp, and very high quality textures. As you can see here, the aircraft wing is modeled to perfection, and I can say the same thing about the Majestic Rolls-Royce engine. QualityWings has spent many years building this aircraft, and the final result is not disappointing. A very authentic, highly representative model of the real Boeing 787. Speaking of high fidelity, QualityWings has created a highly authentic and very high quality 3D cockpit here of the 787. As you can see, everything is modeled with a lot of care, with a lot of attention to detail to recreate the 787 flight deck. I really have a lot of appreciation for what they've done here. Again, if you see the reflective material, the knobs, the switches, everything has really been modeled with a lot of care and attention to detail. Let's take a look here at the overhead panel. Again, very well made overhead panel, very immersive, very crisp textures, and in its entirety, it's looking very realistic. As it is always the case with QualityWings aircraft, they ship with a lightweight control panel that allows you to manipulate the aircraft doors. This particular control panel also allows you to control the cabin lighting, change the brightness and the color. QualityWings has developed many liveries for both trims of the aircraft, the 787-8 and -9. The liveries are available on the QualityWings website. All you need to do is download your favorite livery and install it via the dispatcher. Once you successfully install the QualityWings 787, the dispatcher will be available as a standalone executable, accessible through your PC menu. It allows you to install the aircraft liveries and configure the aircraft type, units, set your fuel loadout, as well as configure the aircraft weight and balance. The QualityWings Ultimate 787 ships with extensive documentation, including a 17-page quick start guide, 187 tutorial and basic FCOM manual, and a 423-page user manual. The aircraft is currently in a cold and dark state, and in order to achieve this state, there are 2 things you can do. One, you can access the panel state option in the CDU and load the cold and dark state, or you can set it in the aircraft config file, which is my preferred option. In order to do this, we're going to head over to the QualityWings installation. So once you install the aircraft, you will find the QualityWings folder in your P3D installation. In that folder, you will find this file, qw787.config. If we double click this file, you will find on the second line panel state equals cold and dark. And this line is actually commented out when you first load this config file. It will have a couple of forward slashes similar to this one here. So all you need to do is remove those forward slashes and save the file, and then you're good to go. Let us now go ahead and power up the aircraft. And the first thing is we're going to go and turn on the battery. And according to the aircraft manual, the 787 battery drains very quickly, so we need to either connect external power or power up the APU. I'm going to go ahead and power up the APU. The sounds are really nice on the knobs and the switches. It's going to take about 30 seconds for the APU to start. And the APU is now available. I really like the sounds, the ambience, the overall ambience is really nice. It feels very immersive. The sounds are very well made. And as you can see now, the aircraft systems are coming up. Alright, so I'm not going to follow a checklist here. I'm just going to leave everything as it is. We're going to program the FMC, and then we're going to worry about all the rest of the stuff. So the aircraft is now performing its self-test, and everything is looking okay. We're going to set the passenger signs to auto, and we'll leave everything else as it is. Now, by the way, the cold and dark state doesn't really put all the switches in the off position, so if you want to do that, you're probably going to have to do this manually. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features here. And the first thing is we want to go to the FMC here. Again, at first look it looks a bit different, but it's actually the same as any Boeing FMC. If you're familiar with Boeing FMC, it really is the same. We're going to go to position. Before we do that, we need to set our IRSs, so let's do that first. There we go. On and on. We're going to turn on the FD door power, and everything else looks okay. Yep. So let's head back here, and we're going to set our airport to. Now this is a bit tricky. So if you come here, now you have access to your PC keyboard. So we're going to type in. Hang on, there. So that's the airport. We're going to hit enter, and we're going to select this position here. There we go. And it will take just a few moments for the IRSs to align. So we're just going to wait for that to happen, and then we're going to go. Actually, we can go to. There we go. And we're going to go to root, and the origin is, again, it's going to take me a while to get used to this. That's Denver, and let's say we're going to San Francisco. All right, flight number is whatever, QualityWings 5678. And then we're going to go to departure. And we're going to be departing today runway 16 left through the course 3 departure. You can see that there. And we're just going to go back to arrivals, and we're going to select the Diamond 3 approach at San Francisco with this transition, and we're going to select ILS runway 28 left through the Archie transition, and we're going to go to route. We're going to say activate and execute. Now if we go to the legs page, again you can check whether there are any discos. As you can see now, there are no discos, so everything's looking okay. And now we go to the initialization, so performance initialization. As you can see, the fuel is already set, and this is because I've already saved that in the dispatcher. So once you save something in the dispatcher, make sure that you go back and change it for your next flight. Reserves, we're just gonna say, let's say 5. And cruise altitude, we'll say 25,000 feet. Cost index, according to the manual, a value between 200 and 250 is preferred because this aircraft is pretty difficult to slow down according to what's written in the manual. So we're going to just say 230 for our cost index. And step size, 2000. And thrust limit now, again, you can derate just as we're accustomed to in in a Boeing FMC. So we're going to derate their takeoff. Again, we can select the trim just by clicking here. So 4.75, and it's already set for you. You've got your V1, V rotate, and V2 speeds. V2 is 144. Okay, so with that, we can set our speed here to 144. There we go, and we can set our altitude to 25,000 feet. There we go. All right, so we have configured our flight plan now, and there's something I want to show you here. As we zoom in, you will have access to the entire airport map, and this is a moving map which makes taxiing very easy. Very cool indeed. I really like that. All right, so there is also in the 787 an EFB, or electronic flight bag, and this is particularly useful because you've got the terminal charts, performance, and of course the dispatch as well. So you can set your fuel here along with the aircraft payload, or you can do it from the dispatcher, which is the standalone executable. Performance, so we can copy the performance now from the FMC data. So it's got everything here, flat position, the thrust condition we can select, it's dry, and everything else is populated here. One of the really nice things about the electronic flight bag that ships with the 787 is the terminal charts. And the terminal charts gives you access to the actual SIDS and stars. So we have here the origin as Denver and the destination is San Francisco. So I'm just going to say complete. And as you can see now, we have access to Denver International SIDS. This is our particular SID, or we can actually switch over to San Francisco, and now we have all the stars. So if we go back to, for example, Denver and select our actual SID, as you can see now you have the SID here and the aircraft shown on the map. You can either use your mouse wheel to zoom in, or you can use the buttons here, and of course you can move up and down, left and right. But the nice thing is that you will be able to see the aircraft through the SID and the star once you depart. A very cool feature in this electronic flight bag. Another cool feature in the 787 is the heads-up display here. As you can see, it's very well done. It looks good. I never really used it. I think I had it on the several of the PMDG aircraft on the 737. I believe some of the aircraft are equipped with the heads-up display. I never really used it, but it's there. It looks cool, definitely. If you like using heads-up display, it's available. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually push out of our position, and we're going to taxi to the runway. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom out here just slightly. As you can see, this is our flight path, so the runway is somewhere down there. Okay, so let's go ahead and prep things up for engine start. Beacon is on, and let's see here, fuel pumps. We'll leave the packs for now. Window heat. And we are now ready. Oh, one thing I almost forgot. This aircraft comes with a checklist, and there is an incentive for using the checklist. If you use the checklist, there will be announcements that are synced with the flow. So before start, I think before taxi, I'm not sure. Well, let's go ahead and do it. So if we go to the pre-flight and we can test the oxygen here. All right, and flight instruments and altimeter and all that good stuff. Oh, we need to leave that. Okay, so flight instruments.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, this is your captain. We'd like to add our welcome aboard today's flight. We're just finishing up our last minute paperwork, and once we've done that, we'll push back. We're estimating an on-time departure. In the cabin today are some of our finest flight attendants who are there for your comfort, but most of all for your safety, so we ask that you give them undivided attention whenever requested. Once again, thanks for flying with us. Sit back and relax, and I'll update you on our progress once we're aboard.
Now that is very cool. One thing is, once we're done with the pre-flight checklist, you know, there isn't a way to move to the next checklist. So you have to go back here, and we're going to go to before start. And passenger signs are
left seat takeoff, taxi route is per ATC instructions, standard reject procedures. Will depart via the SID, climb to initial altitude. In the event of an emergency return, we'll coordinate with ATC. You'll fly the airplane out on the checklist and coordinate with the air traffic control company and the flight attendants. Any questions?
no questions. And we can go ahead and set the MCPs done. Takeoff speeds are okay. CDU pre-flight has been completed. And the taxi and takeoff briefing is completed as well. All right, so now we can go to the before. Actually, that was the before start checklist. So the next one is the before taxi checklist. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call the pushback truck, and we're going to taxi out of our position. Prepare for pushback and departure, and we're going to use, I like American. Okay, and we're going to do nose to the right. Yeah, nose to the right. All right.
Departure check completed. Bypass bin inserted. Release parking brakes.
All right, we're going to start our push down. Parking brake is released.
All engines clear. Start that wheel.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start the engine number 2 first.
Okay, starting
We're on the
engines.
flight deck.
Go ahead from cockpit.
Cleared to start engines.
Roger, clear to start engines.
Start both engines.
All right, engines are now spooling. And let's go ahead and give it fuel here. All right, we are now ready to fire up the engine number 1. And we're going to wait for the engines to spool to about 22% of N2. I think that's close enough. There we go.
Unlocking gear.
All right, and in the meantime here, we can go ahead and put the hydraulics on auto.
Disconnected. Bypass bin removed.
And packs to auto. All right, let's go ahead and go back to our checklist. Anti-ice is checked. And let's see here, TCAS. All right, that is also set. And recall checked. Auto brake to rejected takeoff. Flight control check. Full up, full down, full right, full left, and rudder is also checked. Ground equipment is clear. And now we can turn on the taxi lights on. And we can begin our taxi after we set our flaps. And flaps 5. Alright, so we're pretty much configured now, and we're ready to taxi to runway 16 left. Again, if you want to get rid of this, you just simply go back here, and you can go to either the info page, the CDU, system, checklist, or you can go back to the display here. So that white triangle is our aircraft, and we're going to go ahead and taxi now all the way here, and then we're going to make a right turn to head to the runway and depart. Okay, all is good. Let's release the parking brake and let's taxi to the runway.
Turn left heading 290, climb and maintain 7000. Cleared ILS, runway 25, approach.
Alright, we are now coming up to our turn for runway 16 left. So what I'm going to do is runway turn off lights are on, taxi light is off, and strobes are on, and landing lights are on. Auto throttle is on. We can now decrease the range. There we go. And we make a return to runway 16 left now. Hopefully there are no aircraft on the runway. Looks like there is one at the far end over there. But it looks like it's exiting the runway, so we're fine. Alright, we're getting ready here now. Everything is set, so let's go.
Knots.
Check.
B1. Rotate.
All right.
B2.
Here's our rotation speed.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
All right, gears going up. And we're going to maintain about 10-degree pitch. And retracting the flaps. Here's our turn.
Flaps 1. Flaps up.
All right, flaps up. By the way, we can turn on the clock here, right there. And at this point, we can go ahead and engage LNAV and VNAV and engage the autopilot.
Autopilot in command.
With our flight underway, I'd like to once again welcome you aboard. I'd also like to offer a special welcome
If
to
you
our
use running.
flight. You'll be earning valuable
There we
miles
go.
on your flight today. If you're not a member, please visit us at
As you can see, we can hear the attendants in the back.
Takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist. So we go to the checklist here, and after takeoff, all is done. Flaps are up, landing gear is up, and we're good. Now in terms of frames, you probably noticed that I'm getting some jitters here. Let me bring up the frame counter. We're getting about 30-something frames, which is acceptable. It's probably due to the weather conditions. But overall, I think it's okay. Yeah, pretty smooth. Well, folks, we continue our climb to 25,000 feet, which is our cruising altitude for this flight today. Everything is looking good. My impressions of this aircraft is that it's very well made, very immersive. Definitely massive work has gone into making this aircraft, and to date it is the only available high-fidelity Boeing 787 for a flight simulation platform. One final remark before we conclude our video today regarding the aircraft price. Now, considering the number of years that it took the developers to build this aircraft, considering the fidelity and the quality of everything made into this aircraft, I think it is well worth the price. It might be pricey for some, but I think if you are interested in a 787, flying a 787, definitely this aircraft will bring a lot of joy to your flying experience. Again, I wish I were doing this review of this aircraft for X-Plane 11, but hopefully one day we'll have something as good in X-Plane 11 as this 787. Folks, I want to thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please do post them in the comments section below. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.